everybody's having a great week so far. We are into session 2 of the unit called Resilient Faith. This week we're looking at the title, Active Faith, Live a Life that is Set Apart for God. We're still in 1 Peter chapter 1. We're looking at verses 14 through 19 and 22 through 25. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about basketball. The guy you're looking at here, this is LeBron James. The last 4 years he has played for the Miami Heat, and just last week on July 12th he signed a 2-year agreement with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, what would happen if LeBron showed up to his Cavalier games dressed in his Miami Heat jersey? Coach wouldn't like it, the fans wouldn't like it, he'd probably be booed off the court. Because LeBron made a decision to now play for a different team. And if he cheers on his old team or wears the jersey of his old team, he's betraying who he is now as a basketball player. Now, the reason I mention that is as we look at the 1 Peter passage, there's one little verse that I just want to emphasize this time. It's out of 1 Peter, of course, chapter 1, looking at verse 23. It says, "For you have been born again, not of perishable seed, but of imperishable, through the living and enduring Word of God." You know, the phrase born again is one of those phrases that we Baptists really have clinched onto, and rightfully so. Jesus says in John chapter 3, as he's talking to Nicodemus, you must be born again. In fact, there's only 3 times in the New Testament that that phrase is used. 2 of them is when Jesus is talking to Nicodemus. The other time is right here. What does all of this have to do with basketball? Well, once we're born again, we have a different allegiance. We have a different nature in us. And when we when we go back to that old nature, it's almost like LeBron cheering for the old team. In this passage, God calls us to live holy lives and to be holy as He is holy. I would refer you to look back at your June 1 notes, the first session of the last unit that we were in, where we were studying God's holiness and how His holiness calls us to be holy as well. You might pick up some more ideas for this lesson. So as you prepare your lesson this week and you're focusing on that point, which is live a life that is set apart for God, think about asking the question to your class, how can your class members, how can each of them encourage each other to live holy, set-apart lives? Give a little bit of time for discussion on that. Also, we're right in the middle of summer. It's a good time to be thinking about fellowships. It's always good to get together outside the class and do something. And let me encourage you to invite people who are prospects to your class or who haven't been to class recently. It's always good to get them involved in the life of the class. Sometimes people will get involved in a party before they'll get involved in the class. So that's just another tidbit. Well, I hope you're enjoying the lessons we've had so far out of 1 Peter. It's going to be a good 6-week study. So continue to prepare and pray for your class at least once a week. All right. See you guys later.